You just checked your phone. Maybe it buzzed. Maybe it didn't. You reached for it anyway, thumb already moving before you decided to move it, and by the time the screen lit up, you had forgotten why you looked. Nothing was there. You put it down. 6 seconds later, you picked it up again. You think this is a bad habit, a modern problem, a weakness you should be able to fix with enough willpower. But the real answer is far stranger. The thing pulling your hand toward that glowing rectangle isn't the phone. It's something inside you that is 2 million years old. Let me show you. Picture a stretch of open grassland, tall, dry, moving in the wind. Somewhere in that grass is your great-great-grandmother, 40,000 generations back. She is standing still, listening. The wind shifts the grass, and every shifting blade could be nothing, or it could be a lion. Her brain does not wait to find out. It flinches toward the movement. It checks. This is the core machinery of your attention. For almost the entire history of your species, the humans who survived were the ones who could not ignore a change in their environment. A snapped twig, a new smell, a shadow at the edge of the tree line. The ancestor who calmly stayed focused on her task while something moved in the grass did not become your ancestor. She was removed from the story. The one who startled, who checked, who scanned again and again and again, lived long enough to pass that restlessness down to you. Your attention was never designed to stay in one place. It was designed to sweep the horizon. So, here is the first strange truth. That itch you feel to look at your phone is not new. It is one of the oldest feelings a human can have. You are scanning the grass. You are just doing it with your thumb. But that only explains why you look up. It does not explain why you can't stop. And to understand that, you have to meet a man who studied pigeons. In the middle of the 20th century, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner built small boxes. Inside each box was an animal and a lever. When the animal pressed the lever, sometimes food came out. Skinner discovered something that would eventually reshape the entire modern world, though he could not have known it at the time. If the animal got food every single time it pressed the lever, its behavior was calm, predictable. It pressed when it was hungry, and otherwise, it left the lever alone. But if the food came out randomly, sometimes yes, sometimes no, with no pattern the animal could learn, everything changed. The animal pressed the lever compulsively, frantically, long after it should have stopped. It could not walk away. Skinner called this a variable ratio schedule of reinforcement. You can call it something simpler. It is the most powerful engine of habit that biology has ever produced, and it runs on one ingredient, not reward, uncertainty. Think about what happens when you pull down to refresh your feed. Sometimes there is something good waiting, a message, a like, a piece of news, and sometimes there is nothing at all. You never know which one it will be. That not knowing is not a flaw in the design. That not knowing is the design. You are the animal. The screen is the lever. And the reason you keep pressing is the same reason the pigeon couldn't stop. Does that make you feel a little uncomfortable? It should. But stay with me, because the biology underneath is even more precise than Skinner realized. Decades after those boxes, a neuroscientist named Wolfram Schultz put tiny sensors into the brains of monkeys to watch a single chemical in action. That chemical was dopamine. For a long time, people believed dopamine was the pleasure chemical, the thing that spikes when you get something you want. Schultz found something different, something that changes how you should understand every craving you have ever had. He gave the monkeys a reward, a drop of juice, and watched their dopamine rise. Then he added a signal, a light, that always came just before the juice. And within a short time, the dopamine stopped spiking when the juice arrived. Instead, it spiked at the light, at the promise, at the moment right before the reward, when the reward was still only possible. Read that again, slowly. The dopamine did not fire for the thing you wanted. It fired for the anticipation of the thing you wanted. The neuroscientist Robert Sapolsky described this discovery in a way that is hard to forget. Dopamine, he explained, is not about pleasure. It is about the pursuit of pleasure. It is the fuel of almost. And here is the sharpest part. When Sapolsky's team looked at what happened if the reward only came some of the time, if the maybe was real, the dopamine did not go down. It went up. The uncertainty did not weaken the craving. It doubled it. So now you can see the full machine. Your ancient brain is built to check the horizon. Your dopamine system is built to crave the moment of maybe, not the reward itself. And the device in your pocket delivers an endless stream of maybes, a bottomless field of grass that never stops moving. Every notification is a rustle. Every refresh is a lever. Every buzz is a light that promises juice that might not come. You were never fighting a bad habit. You were fighting 2 million years of biology, engineered by people who understood that biology better than you do. And they did understand it. This is the part people find hardest to accept. The pull you feel is not an accident of technology. It is a product. Teams of brilliant designers study exactly which shade of red makes a notification badge impossible to ignore. They test how long to delay the little "someone is typing" dots to keep you staring at the screen. They know about Skinner. They know about dopamine. The slot machine feel of pulling to refresh was not stumbled upon. It was chosen. But before you decide the machine has already won, there is one more piece of this story, and it may be the most important one. Because the cost of all this checking is not just your time, it is something quieter and much harder to get back. A researcher named Gloria Mark spent years watching how people actually work, timing them with stopwatches, tracking every switch of attention. In her early studies, she found people stayed focused on a single screen for around 2.5 minutes before switching away. That number alone sounds bad, but when she repeated the work years later, it had collapsed. People were now switching their attention every 47 seconds, less than a minute, over and over, all day long, and every switch has a price. Mark found that after an interruption, it takes a surprisingly long time to fully return to a task, sometimes many minutes. But most of us never get those minutes because the next interruption arrives first. So we live in a state she describes as a kind of continuous partial attention, never fully here, never fully there, always halfway to the grass. Here is the twist that should stop you cold. The scanning behavior that kept your ancestor alive is the exact behavior that is quietly dismantling your ability to think deeply today. On the savannah, being unable to focus was a survival skill. The lion doesn't wait for you to finish your thought, but you don't live on the savannah anymore. The thing your attention was built to protect you from is gone, and the machinery is still running, firing at shadows that are only ever another person's post. Your greatest ancient strength has become your modern weakness. Same wiring, different world. So what do you do with this? You could feel defeated. You could decide you are broken, or weak, or addicted, and many people do. But that is the wrong conclusion, and it is worth understanding why. You are not weak. You are responding, perfectly and predictably, to a set of signals your brain was designed to respond to. That's not a character flaw. That's a healthy nervous system doing exactly what 4 million years of survival shaped it to do. The problem was never you. The problem is that a system built to keep you alive in the grass has been aimed deliberately at a screen. And once you can see the machine clearly, something small but real shifts. The next time your hand drifts toward your phone for no reason, you can notice it. You can feel the pull for what it actually is. Not a message you need to read. Not a thing you're missing. Just an ancient reflex, scanning a horizon that isn't there, reaching for a maybe that was engineered to keep you reaching. You can let your hand stop halfway. You can let the grass move without checking it. And in that one pause, you are doing something almost no ancestor of yours could ever afford to do. You are choosing where your attention goes. That choice is the rarest thing your species has ever had. For 2 million years, it did not exist. The grass moved and you looked, because looking was life. Only now, in a world without lions, does a stranger possibility open up. You can feel the pull, understand exactly where it came from, and decide not to answer it. So the next time your phone buzzes, or doesn't, and your thumb starts to move before you do, stop for just 1 second and ask yourself a single question. Who is really checking the grass? You? Or something 2 million years older, wearing your hand like a glove? You just checked your phone. Now you know why. And now, maybe, you don't have to.